Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. The Trump administration in the SignalGate controversy continues to spin and lie. But you know it's not working and that the scandal is bad, even when a few reporters at Fox News are calling out the Trump team nonsense. Here's Fox Pentagon correspondent Jennifer Griffin.
What was shared in the Signal group chat goes beyond war plans because they included the timing of the operations.
The Republican head of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Roger Wicker, has called for an investigation and further hearings. Quote, the information as published recently appears to me to be of such a sensitive nature that, based on my knowledge, I would have wanted it classified.
The Trump administration has repeatedly tried to smear journalist Jeffrey Goldberg and his magazine, The Atlantic. Goldberg, who has been a Trump administration critic, was on the receiving end of an invitation to a Signal app chat that included more than a dozen top Trump national security officials who were discussing airstrikes on the Houthi rebels in Yemen. Those officials included Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Those officials, rather than immediately admit error after Goldberg published a story, responded by attacking Goldberg. Hegseth, on top of claiming Goldberg was prone to lies, lied himself by claiming the information on the chat was not classified. Fox News chief political analyst Brit Hume says the Trump administration has made an embarrassing story even worse for itself.
But this administration got itself bogged down in this debate about whether there was war plans in there or not, or whether there was classified information there or not. And then you had, Tulsi Gabbard on Capitol Hill forced to say that, well, this is the kind of information that was in that conversation that should be classified. And so that just kept the story going. And the Democrats, of course, are having a field day, and so are the media. And the other thing they did is they attacked the journalist. Look, I'm not a particular fan of Goldberg or of his magazine, but he didn't do anything wrong here. He got that thing sent to him passively. He didn't do anything to get it. And then when he reported on it, he left out a lot of the details. So then they attacked him and said that he wasn't telling the truth about it, which just gave him a reason to release the details, as he did this morning.
There are still several Fox hosts and shows that have been defending the Trump White House administration. That includes the morning show Fox and Friends. And that show jumped at an opportunity to attack a Democratic member of Congress, Jimmy Gomez, who wondered at a House hearing if Pete Hegseth sent out the battle plan text because Hegseth had been drunk. Here's Trump sycophant Brian Kilmeade.
This guy, Jimmy Gomez, who should wake up embarrassed this morning because he took his time to tar and attack Pete Hegseth on something totally unsubstantiated. Listen.
You know whether Pete Hegseth had been drinking before he leaked classified information?
I don't have any knowledge of Secretary Hegseth's personal habits.
Director Radcliffe. Same question. Yes or no?
No, I'm going to answer that. I think that's an offensive line of questioning. The answer is no. I find it interesting that you want to... I'm going to answer. You asked me a question. You want an answer?
No, listen.
You don't want to focus on the good work that the CIA is doing. Was his performance compromised because of a successful strike?
Back. Mr. I bring my...
You want to know? You want to talk about accepting responsibility? Do you think you should accept responsibility for a successful strike to make Americans safer?
These people are crazy. I mean, trying to create a moment. He looks terrible right there. There's no evidence to suggest that.
That's true. There is no evidence to suggest Hegseth was drunk. Still, a lot of people across the political spectrum and the U.S. military are wondering how Hegseth could be so stupid and moronic as to text military attack plans on a platform that could have easily been monitored by the Iranians and the Russians. Military analysts say the Trump administration is lucky the Houthi terrorists didn't get tipped off in advance and did not manage to shoot down and kill U.S. pilots. In the midst of Hegseth insisting he did not text anything classified, Illinois Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth issued a statement that read in part, Pete Hegseth is a liar. This is so clearly classified info he recklessly leaked. He needs to resign in disgrace immediately. The main Fox politics show Special Report then invited Senator Duckworth on the program and only seemed to take issue with her profane language. First, the senator.
As a former pilot, I have a special affinity for pilots who are out there, and these men and women, thank goodness we're not we're not injured on this mission, and I worry about future missions. I worry that our allies might not share information with us if they feel that we do not know how to safeguard. So I really want to thank Chairman Wicker for agreeing to do this investigation. I think a bipartisan, nonpartisan investigation is what is needed.
I've noticed Democrats using expletives a little bit more in statements. Is that why you decided to use that?
I'm an Army helicopter pilot. I'm a grunt pilot. I am known to have a little bit of a potty mouth, unfortunately.
Again, the toughest question from the Fox anchor was why Senator Duckworth used an expletive. All of this underscores that the main Washington talent at Fox News believe the Trump administration national security team screwed up and then tried to lie about it. Some things are, of course, so obvious that even Fox News, which usually serves as an echo chamber for the Trump administration, cannot ignore reality. And the reality in this case is that the Trump national security team behaved like a bunch of inexperienced, cavalier frat boys instead of seasoned and responsible senior officials that America can rely on. We are all very lucky the Trump administration did not get U.S. service members killed. By the way, the Trump White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt has gotten busted and ridiculed over her breathless lies in SignalGate.
And the president and our team have been incredibly transparent about what happened. No classified information was shared in this group chat.
On X, Leavitt added, no war plans were discussed. Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic received the text.
What are they arguing, that an attack is different than a war? They put operational details of a forthcoming attack on a terrorist organization into Signal, into a Signal chat that included phone numbers that they didn't recognize.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.